Imagine waking up to see an extra $2,000 direct deposit in your bank account. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, a new proposal in Congress could make that a reality for millions of Americans. Look at this. Stimulus check update, $2,000 payments proposed by Congressman, but here's the twist. This isn't just about helping families. It's about a massive political battle over President Trump's tariffs, rising prices, and who really deserves the money. Stay with me, because what's happening right now could either put thousands of dollars in your pocket or end up as another broken promise in Washington. And trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. Look at this, what Josh is saying about $2,000 for seniors Americans.
Forth on the floor today about how we got to the level of $2,000. We all know how we got to that level. The President of the United States said that's the level he supports.
California Congressman Ro Khanna has officially proposed $2,000 stimulus checks for Americans earning under $100,000. His argument is simple. Trump's tariffs, those extra taxes on imports, are driving up prices on everything from groceries to housing. And if families are paying the price, then it's only fair to give some of that tariff money back to them. In his own words, tariffs have become an unfair tax on Americans. That's why Khanna wants the government to take the historic revenue being collected from tariffs and send it straight back to working-class families. Will this proposal actually pass, or is it just another political stunt? Stick around, because we'll dig into that in a moment. But question is, why now? Let's back up. Since returning to the White House earlier this year, President Donald Trump has repeatedly rolled out tariffs, announcing them, pausing them, reinstating them on a variety of trading partners. The goals sound vague: curb illegal immigration, reduce drug trafficking, fix trade deficits. But the impact at home? More expensive everyday items. The numbers tell the story. Consumer prices are up 2.7% compared to last year, with core inflation, excluding food and energy, even higher at 3.1%. That means the average American household is paying more at checkout, at the gas pump, and even in rent. Now here's where it gets interesting. Trump himself floated the idea of a rebate earlier this year. He bragged about so much money coming in from tariffs, hinting that maybe, just maybe, that money could go back to the people. So Khanna's proposal? In a way, it takes Trump's own words and turns them into a concrete bill. In Khanna's statement, he lays it out: higher grocery bills, higher housing costs, higher living expenses. His solution? Take this tariff revenue that has been an unfair tax and give it back to working families so that they can pay the bills. But please stay with me till the end of this video. The big update is there. And he's not alone. Khanna is also working with Republican Don Bacon of Nebraska to repeal tariffs on coffee. Yes, you heard that right. There's actually a no coffee tax act. If passed, it would make your morning cup a little cheaper. But here's the kicker. Khanna has a history of pushing direct payments. During the COVID-19 pandemic, he was one of the strongest voices demanding stimulus checks. And he's not the only one with this idea today. Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, recently introduced the American Worker Rebate Act, though his version only includes $600 checks per American.
I can't for the life of me figure out why it is so difficult to get a vote on the bills that Senator Sanders has just referenced, when, by my count, the President of the United States, the Speaker of the House, a large majority of the House of Representatives, and I think a supermajority of this body are all in favor of $2,000 relief payments to working Americans. Now, we've had some back and forth on the floor today about how we got to the level of $2,000. We all know how we got to that level. The President of the United States said that's the level he supported. The number originates with him. This is the number that he has asked for, and the House adopted it. And a majority of senators have said already publicly that they support it. And yet we can't seem to even get a vote on it. We can't even seem to have debate on it. I mean, with all due respect, this doesn't seem to me to be a Republicans versus Democrats issue. This seems to be the Senate versus the United States of America.
So now the question becomes, is this the start of a bipartisan push for direct payments, or just competing headlines to grab attention? Let's talk numbers, because this is where the story gets explosive. Tariffs under Trump have generated record-shattering revenue for the U.S. Treasury. As of late July, the government collected $150 billion in a single year, with $28 billion in July alone. the biggest monthly haul of 2025. For perspective, that's nearly double the tariff revenue compared to 2024, with a fiscal year-to-date total of $108 billion. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent even said collections could top $500 billion annually and maybe even push toward $1 trillion. Think about that for a second. $1 trillion from tariffs. That's enough to fund multiple rounds of stimulus checks, expand Social Security, or even cover Medicare costs for years. So here's the second cliffhanger. If the money is there, why hasn't Congress already acted to give it back to the people? Is it politics? Is it priorities? Or is it because Washington has other plans for that cash? What leaders are saying? You must need to pay attention on these points, the leaders saying. Let's go straight to the words of the key players. President Trump told reporters, "We have a lot of money coming in. Tremendous numbers. There's a concept of making a dividend to the people of this country who have paid a lot of taxes and got nothing for it." Senator Josh Hawley said in July, "Americans deserve a tax rebate after 4 years of Biden policies that devastated families." Like President Trump proposed, "My legislation would allow hardworking Americans to benefit from the wealth tariffs are bringing in." And a senior DHS official added, "This administration will always put Americans first. We're reversing a broken trade system and making the country richer." So here's the dynamic. Khanna, a Democrat, is pitching $2,000 checks. Hawley, a Republican, wants $600 checks. Trump talks about dividends. Different ideas, different numbers, but the same theme. Money collected from tariffs should flow back to the American people. What happens next? So where do we go from here? Once Khanna officially introduces the bill, it'll head to committee. If it passes there, it could move to a floor vote in the House. From there, the Senate would have to act, and finally, it would need Trump's signature. That's a long road. And here's the reality. Washington is divided. Some lawmakers will argue that tariff revenue should pay down debt, boost defense spending, or fund infrastructure. Others will rally behind checks for families struggling with inflation. Which side wins out? That's the million, or should I say $2,000 question. Why this matters for you? Let's bring it home. If you're a working-class American making under $100,000, this proposal could put a direct $2,000 payment in your pocket. For seniors, that money could help with medical bills, rent, or just keeping food on the table. For families, it could mean catching up on credit card payments or buying groceries without panic. But here's the final cliffhanger. Will this proposal survive Washington's gridlock, or will it vanish like so many promises before it? Billions, possibly trillions, are being collected from tariffs. The question is, will Congress send that money back to you, or will it get swallowed up in the DC machine? I'll be tracking this every step of the way, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. Because if $2,000 checks really are on the horizon, you'll want to know the moment it happens. And here's a teaser. There's already talk about other relief proposals tied to Social Security and Medicare, which could mean even more direct help for seniors. But that's a story for our next video.